Welcome to our Attic Angel Community's annual service of Remembrance. My name is Kristen Rice. I am the community chaplain for Attic Angel Place, and it has been a privilege and an honor to serve this community. 2021 has proven to be another difficult year as we continue to navigate the ongoing fight against COVID-19 and the constant changes therein. I am thankful that many things have become possible again in our community. Seeing residents gathered together, playing mahjong or enjoying meals with their neighbors, having open doors for visitors, doesn't necessarily take away the challenges we are navigating, but there is an air of hope and a quality of life that infuses our community with the resilience we all need to keep moving forward. But of course, the reason we are here right now, the purpose of this time and this service, is to acknowledge that we also continue to experience loss in our community, in our lives, as many of our beloved residents have died in the last year. And whether a person lived at Attic Angel for just a few short weeks, or for many years, or time in between, they are always a part of our community, and we mourn their passing. It is my hope that this service will give you an opportunity to find rest and to feel what you need to feel. You may still feel the very grave weight of loss, or you may feel the light of peace. Feel free in this time to cry, to laugh, or simply to be still. If you wish to mark this time as set apart from the other busy moments of your day, consider pausing this video right now to light a candle or two, or create a physical space around you that will welcome and comfort you, to be open to the emotions and memories of the ones you hold dear, who have passed from this life and who remain in your hearts. And thank you for taking this time to remember. There will be readings and a slideshow of pictures honoring many of our Attic Angel community members who have died from November 2020 through November 2021. And though they are no longer with us, they are not forgotten, and we are not alone in our remembrance of the legacies that remain.
In the rising of the sun and in its going down, in the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, in the opening of buds and in the rebirth of spring, we remember them. In the blueness of the sky and in the warmth of summer, in the rustling of leaves and in the beauty of autumn, in the beginning of the year and when it ends, when we are weary and in need of strength, we remember them. When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember them. When we have joys we yearn to share, we remember them. So as long as we live, they too shall live, for they are now a part of us as we remember them.
Hokusai says, look carefully. He says, pay attention, notice. He says, keep looking, stay curious. He says, there is no end to seeing. He says, look forward to getting old. He says, keep changing. You just get more who you really are. He says, get stuck, accept it, repeat yourself as long as it is interesting. He says, keep doing what you love. He says, keep praying. He says, every one of us is a child. Every one of us is ancient. Every one of us has a body. He says every one of us is frightened. He says every one of us has to find a way to live with fear. He says everything is alive. Shells, buildings, people, fish, mountains, trees, wood is alive. Water is alive. Everything has its own life. Everything lives inside us. He says live with the world inside you. He says it doesn't matter if you draw or write books. It doesn't matter if you saw wood or catch fish. It doesn't matter if you sit at home and stare at the ants on your veranda or the shadows of the trees and grasses in your garden. It matters that you care. It matters that you feel. It matters that you notice. It matters that life lives through you. Contentment is life living through you. Joy is life living through you. Satisfaction and strength is life living through you. He says, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Love, feel, let life take you by the hand. Let life live through you.
A death has occurred and everything is changed. We are painfully aware that life can never be the same again, that yesterday is over, that relationships, once rich, have ended. But there is another way to look upon this truth. If life now went on the same, without the presence of the one who had died, we could only conclude that the life we remember made no contribution, filled no space, meant nothing. The fact that this person left behind a place that cannot be filled is a high tribute to this individual. Life can be the same after a trinket has been lost, but never after the loss of a treasure.
Making the time to remember our loved ones who are no longer with us is one of the many ways we can honor the complexity of grief in our lives. Most often, we are most acutely aware the power of grief in the most immediate time around a loss. And it's like the world gives us a grace period of a couple weeks, maybe a month if we're lucky, where your grief is understood and welcomed by the outside world. But it may seem to fade quickly, as if you can just pack up those deeper feelings around your loss and move on without a second glance. It is my hope that in the readings we just heard, and in this time you are taking right now, that you, wherever you are, and however near or far you feel to the loss of your loved one, may give yourself the grace and the space to feel whatever you may be feeling. Grief will not look the same way for everyone, even within our family systems or our common communities. And that's because our relationships are not cookie cutter either. And our relationships are not always easy to define, particularly when a relationship has ended with death. And even more particularly when death may occur without our presence, when our loved ones may die and we are not there to witness it or understand it. And so we hold rituals to honor the death around us. Thankfully, this year we have been more able to have funeral services. We've been able to write obituaries or set up ways for people to express condolence and honor, among many other things. And while these rituals may help us start to find meaning in the loss, grief will still look and feel very different as we continue to move through it. Some days it may feel insurmountable. Other days we'll get through without a second thought. The love and hope we have for the people and the relationships that we have lost, that's the grief that lingers. Even the most complicated of relationships bring grief in their own way when they come to an end. As we close out 2021 and find the world around us lighting up with holiday spirit, grief may actually feel more profound and close at hand, particularly if these year-end celebrations will be the first without your loved ones around you. My hope is that you give yourself the space and time to acknowledge your feelings as they come, even if it's just for a minute. My hope is that you have people around you who will understand that your feelings of grief will ebb and flow, and that you will find yourself loved and supported and welcomed wherever you are and however you are feeling. Please know that there are plenty of resources available if you find yourself struggling to work through and with your grief. Don't hesitate to reach out for help if you have need. At this time, we'll have a slideshow of pictures honoring many of our Attic Angel residents who died between November of 2020 and November of 2021. On behalf of all the staff who provide direct care, supportive care, activities, food services, house cleaning, and so many other resources of service, thank you for the privilege of serving and caring for your loved ones in their final days, months, and years. May our stories continue to be woven together as we move ahead.
Hello, family members. On behalf of all of Attic Angel community, I would just like to express our condolence for the loss of your loved ones in this past year. And I'd also like to express our sincere gratitude for the privilege you have given us of being able to care for your loved one, to be able to get to know them and to get to know you throughout this very difficult year. It has been an honor, and we thank you so very much.
Thank you for joining me in this time. May you be filled with peace, light, and hope in the days, weeks, months, and years to come, knowing that our loved ones may not be here with us physically, but are with us in our hearts and our memories and our stories, filling us with the energy and the courage to keep moving forward and keep going on until such a time, maybe, that we are reunited again. Peace be with you in this season.